Greetings everyone, this is Manisha. I welcome you all in my 14th video of Introduction to Programming Language C. In my previous videos, I have covered the topics operators, data types, and control statements. If you have not seen my previous videos, please click the I button and visit my channel. In the last video, I have covered the topic of loops. Today I am going to continue with the same topic and we are going to see some programs of the loops. First program is to print backward counting. Second program is to input a number and calculate the factorial of that number. And third program is to input a number and identify if that number is a prime number or not. Before starting with the explanation of these programs, I would like to request you, if you have not subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe my channel. Click the bell icon so that you can get the notifications, and please like the videos and share it with your friends. Let's start with the explanation. I will explain you the concept here, and in the compiler we'll see how these programs will run. Let's have a look at the first program. The first program is to print backward counting. For backward counting, we'll initialize our counter by the highest number, right? So that number can be printed first and then the reduced values can be printed. So suppose I is equal to 10, right? Now we are going to type the counting 10 to 1, right? It is in reverse order. So the condition that we are going to give here, right? My intention is to run this loop by the time i's value is not 1, right? That means by the time i's value is greater or equal to 1, by that time this loop should be executed. So condition will be i's value should be greater or equal to 1, right? This is the condition. Within the loop, first we will print the value. We'll print the value of I, right? And then we'll reduce the value of I, right? Reduction by 1. If you want to reduce the value of I by 1, there are two ways to do that. One is you can write I is equal to I minus 1, or you can write I minus minus. Any one of these two statements can be written, right? And loop closes. Okay, so you can see here of the counter. So you can see here that we have initialized our counter. We have given a condition to our counter, right? The expression is made out of counter, right? And then decrement have been done because as per our program's requirement, the counter should be decreased by 1, right? And the counter's value can be printed. This is how we are going to have backward counting with the help of this loop. Now let's see how this program will run in the computer. Let's have a look at this program now. This program is to print backward counting as we have just discussed over the board, right? Here I have taken one counter which have been initialized by 10, and the while loop have the condition I is greater or equal to 1, right, as discussed. Now inside the loop we are printing the value of I and decreasing the value of I so that once it is decreased, the next number can be printed out of that, right? Let's run this program and see the output, how the output is coming. This is how the output of this program will come, right? Let's see once more by running it step by step. I is equal to 10 have been initialized. Now here the condition is checking 10 is greater or equal to 1 as I is holding 10, right? So this condition will come true. I's value will be printed and I's value will be decreased. Now I is holding 9. 9 is greater than 1, right? Again, a loop will execute. This loop will execute by the time i's value is greater or equal to 1. As soon as I comes to 0, this loop will be terminated. Right? Now it has been terminated, and we'll have the output as 10 to 1. Okay, I hope you have understood this program. Let's move to the next program now. Let's have a look on the second statement. The second program says to input a number and calculate the factorial of that number. Right? What is factorial? Factorial means, suppose the number is 5. If you multiply all the numbers till 1, like 5 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1, right? This is factorial of number 5, right? As statement says that we need to input a number. That means we need one variable to get the number, right? We need one more variable so that we can run our loop, and one more variable to store the result, right? So with the help of these three integers, we will make our program. Now how the program will be made, right? A is going to be scanned, I we have for the counter, and result, the variable result will store the result, right? So I will be initialized with the value of A, right? Result will be initialized by 1, okay, and then loop will be executed. We will run the loop by the time this i's value is greater than or equal to 1, right? So I is greater or equal to 1. Now what do we need to do? We need to multiply all the numbers, okay? Now result is holding 1, right? In this result variable only we will make the answer. So result is equal to result multiplied by I. This is how we'll calculate. That means whatever value result is holding, that will be multiplied with the value of I, and again will be stored in result only. Okay, then i's value will be reduced. I's value will be reduced by 1, and then this loop will execute. Let's suppose the number is 5. That means A is holding 5. I will also hold 5 initially. Result is holding 1, right? Now here I is holding 5. 5 is greater than 1. This loop will execute. Now result here is holding 1. So 1 multiply by 5, right? 1 multiply by 5. After this statement, result will hold 5. Okay? Result is going to hold after this statement is executed. Result is going to hold number 5. Then i's value will be reduced. I will be having 4, right? Then 4 will be checked by 1, right? Again it's going to come inside. Now at this time, result is holding 5 and I is holding 4. Okay? So 5 multiplied by 4, result is going to hold 20. Right? I's value will be reduced by 1. It is going to hold 3. Right? 3 is greater or equal to 1, which is true. Again it is going to come inside. Result is holding 20 here now, and I is holding 3. So it's going to be multiplied, and result is going to hold 60 after this. I's value will be reduced. I is going to hold 2. 2 is greater or equal to 1. True. It's going to come inside. Result is holding 60 and I is holding 2. Will be multiplied. Now result is going to hold 120 and i's value will be reduced again. Now here I is going to hold 1. 1 equal to 1. True. It's going to come inside. Now here result is holding 120 and I is holding 1. Okay, calculation will be stored in result only, which is going to 120 itself. I's value is going to be reduced. I will hold 0. Now 0 is greater than equal to 1. It is going to come false and loop will terminate. And after this loop, we can display results value. Right? Let's see how this program will be written in the compiler. Let's have a look at this program. This program is to calculate the factorial of the input number. As discussed over the board, we have taken three variables for this program, right? One have been scanned, one have been used as counter, and other one have been used to store the result, right? Let's see how it is working. Now suppose let's run it once and then see the output, how it comes, right? Suppose the number given is 7, right, and the factorial is 5040, right? Now let's run it step by step and see how it is calculating. Printf scanf. Now suppose the number given here is 5, right? Now I is equal to a, that means I is holding 5, right? Factorial is holding 1, that means f in which we are calculating our result have been initialized by 1, right? Now we have scanned a and a is holding 5 and a's value have been given to I, so I is also holding 5. Now here it is checking 5 is greater than 1, right? Now 5 is greater than 1, this condition is true. F is equal to f multiplied by I. Now here f is holding 1, so 1 multiplied by 5, this is what it is calculating, and then i's value have been decreased. Now I is holding 4, 4 is greater than 1, right? It will keep continuing, and the calculations will be done in f by multiplying the number which f is holding previously, right? Once i's value is 1, the loop will terminate and the answer, that means f value, will be printed, right? This is how it is going to work, right? I hope you have understood this program also. Let's move to the further third program now. Let's have a look at the third program. Third program is to input a number and identify if that number is a prime number or not, right? Now for this program we will run such a loop that will check the divisibility of the number by numbers from 2 to number minus 1. That means suppose number given is 7, then we need to run such a loop that will check the divisibility of 7 from 2 to 6 by all the numbers. It will be divided and check whether it is divided by or divisible by any number or not. If it is divisible by any number, it is not a prime number. If it is not divisible by any number, then it is a prime number, right? Let's see how can we do that. We will need three integer variables for this. One is to scan the number, other one is as counter, and third is to check whether a number have been divided by some other number or not, right? Now I will be initialized by 2 here. The loop will run by the time i's value is less than a, right? And we will initialize tag also by 0. Okay. Now inside the loop we will run if a%i, this will give us remainder. If remainder is equal to 0, that means your a's value have been divided by some other number, right? If this happens, then tag is equal to 1 and break. otherwise i's value will be incremented by 1, right? Now what is happening here is, if a's value is divided by some other number, right, that means if remainder comes 0 by dividing by some other number, then change the value of tag and discontinue the loop, right? Okay, now suppose for our example, if it is 7, then I is equal to 2, A is holding 7, right? I is holding 2, 2 is less than 7, loop will be executing. Now 7% 2 will be checked, which is non-zero. So non-zero means the value will come 1, 1 equal to 0, this will be false, it will come out and i's value will be incremented. Now I will hold 3, right? Again it will not be divisible, so if will be skipped and i's value will be incremented. 4. Now 7's divisibility will be checked with the 4, right? Now if it is not divisible, like this, in this case it is not divisible, then if will be skipped, I will be increased. I is holding 5 now, 5 is less than 7, loop will be executing. Here 7% 5 will be checked, remainder will not be 0. Again if will be skipped, I will be incremented, it will come 6. Here we will check 6, right? And this will again be skipped, then again I will be incremented, I is holding 7 now. 7 is less than 7, which is false, right? In this case loop will be terminated, right? Now as this statement have not been executed even once, right, that means tag is still holding 0. So after this loop, what we are going to do is, we are going to write one more if statement in which I will check tag's value. If tag is equal to 0, number is prime, else number is not prime. Let's see one more example. Now suppose number is 8, right? Now that means A is holding 8, here I is holding 2. Now here I am checking 8% 2, that will give remainder as 0. So 0 equal to 0, if part will be executing, right, that means tag is equal to 1 and break. In this case, as soon as tag is equal to 1, the break statement will execute and while will terminate. While will not move further. All the statements after this of while loop will not be executing because of this break statement, right? So after this, the if else that we have put in that we are checking if tag is equal to 0. Now in this case tag's value have been changed, so tag equal to 0 will be false, else part will execute, that says it is not a prime number. Let's have a look at this program now. This program is to input a number and identify if that number is a prime number or not. As discussed over the board, we have taken 3 variables for this program, right? Now one have been taken to scan the number, other one have been used as counter, and third have been used as tag, which will check whether the number have been divided by some other number or not, right? Now how will we check? That also we have just discussed. Tag have been initialized by 0, right? And tag's value will get changed once the number have been divided by some other number, right? So if within the loop number have not been divided by some other number, tag will still be holding 0, right? That is why after the loop we are checking if tag is still holding 0. That means if tag is equal to 0, then number is a prime number, right? Why tag will still hold 0? That means this statement have not been executed, and this statement will only be executed if the number have been divided by some other number, right? Okay, so if after executing the loop, after terminating the loop, if tag is still holding 0, then number is a prime number, else number is not a prime number, right? Let's see how this program works. Right, now suppose number entered is 35, not a prime number. Let's run it once again. Now suppose number entered is 31, it's a prime number, right? Let's see step by step how this program will work. Clear screen, enter a number. Suppose I'm entering a small number so that iterations are less, right? Suppose number entered is 5, tag is initialized to 0, I is initialized to 2, 2 is less than 5, 5% 2, right? It is not divisible. I have been incremented. Now I is holding 3, A is holding 5. Now 5% 3, again false. Now I is holding 4, 4 is less than 5, again it is going to go inside. 5% 4, again this condition will be false, and if segment will not be executing, right? I is incremented to 5 now, 5 is less than 5, it is false, so it will come out. Tag will still hold 0 here now, right? That is why it is a prime number, right? Let's run it once more. Right, now this time suppose number given is 9, right? So tag have been initialized, I have been initialized. Now 2 is less than 9, 9% 2, this is false, I will be incremented. Now 3 is less than 9. Now here 9% 3, right? Now this time this statement will be true, and if segment will execute. So tag have been the tag's value have been changed to 1 now, right? And loop have been terminated with the help of break statement, so it will come out here only. Now the loop's iterations are not completed here, but with the help of break statement we have come out of the loop, right? Now here if tag is equal to 0, now because if statement in the loop was true, so tag's value have been changed to 1, so this if statement will be false here, and else part will execute, that is printf not prime number. So we will have the output as not prime number. I hope you have understood all the programs that we have done today. Please like, subscribe and share my channel. In our next video we are going to do nested loops. Till then, keep watching, be safe and take care of yourself. Thank you so much for watching this video.